Hi everyone, and welcome to School of Management 609. This is Business Applications for Python. My name is Carrie Baldwin. I'm your instructor for this class. I'm a lecturer in the Operations and Information Management Department, and I teach a few other courses in the undergraduate programs and in graduate programs, including School of Management 650, which is Business Statistics, and School of Management 657, which is Data Science for Business. You can feel free to contact me at my email address. If you are on campus, you can find me in office 327. I imagine most people are not in the area, but for those who are, that is where I reside. All right, I'm going to go into some drivers and insights, why we should learn Python as business analysts, and give you a sense of the landscape around using Python in the workplace. Okay, so Python. Why learn Python? Python is sometimes referred to as the second best programming language for any task. It's known for being extremely versatile and ubiquitous. It is open source, meaning it's free to use, and that is why a lot of businesses are moving towards using Python as opposed to some proprietary software packages that are costly and also tend to lock people into certain departments or teams. If everyone at a business knows Python, it becomes easy for individuals to move from one project to another, from one department to another. And that has been proven to be an asset for businesses. As we know, the business world has become increasingly data-driven with the emergence of a lot of technologies that make data more accessible. I'm thinking about cloud storage, cloud computing. Also, you may have heard of Internet of Things. Many smart devices collect data all the time. Web data is constantly being generated, tracking user behavior on websites. So just the amount of data is increasing exponentially every day. And businesses want to take advantage of that and leverage that data because they can give themselves a strategic advantage over their competition. So learning the skills to work with data in Python puts anyone seeking employment in business at an advantage, right? You become more desirable if you're able to understand and use Python for different tasks. And we'll talk about what some of those tasks are. Python is among programming languages at the top. So this is based on a survey comparing the use of Python in previous years to more recent years. It is the dominant programming language among developers and analysts, even above Java, JavaScript, and some of these other open source tools that are available. So that's a good thing to know, and it seems that Python just continues to rise in its popularity. Python is said to be part of the winning formula for productivity, software quality, and maintainability at many companies and institutions around the world. These are just a couple. You would see others, including Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, a lot of these new platforms that have become really popular in recent years. Behind the scenes, they are using Python. Zillow uses Python to come up with home value estimates based on a variety of different factors, things like the square footage of the home, the property size, proximity to good schools and amenities, crime rates in the area, things like that all can go into a multiple regression to predict what the home should be valued at. And that's advantageous to a lot of stakeholders who care about real estate. Spotify is another platform that uses Python behind the scenes. A lot of these programs that offer entertainment, music, videos, things like that, they use an algorithm called a recommendation system. So recommendation systems are kind of self-explanatory. It's a program that will recommend new songs or genres to the user to make the user experience better and make users spend more time on the platform and make them more likely to purchase the premium version of the software. So those are just a couple of examples, but there are many others. So a lot of times students would like to know, what makes something a programming language? Why do we call a certain environment a programming language as opposed to just a software program that you can install and drag and drop, point and click? Behind all of those actions is some kind of communication with your device, right? So if we are using a programming language, we're communicating directly with the computer. Programming languages all have different features, making them more or less suitable for different tasks. For example, JavaScript is a popular tool for building web applications, while something like R is a common choice for statistical analysis. And they all have this common feature of telling the computer what to do. Now, to go on a slight excursion here, I would say that your computer speaks in basically positive and negative charges represented by zeros and ones. So when we use a programming language that is considered to be closer to the language of a human, those lines of code run through what's called an interpreter. So there's a conversion that happens between what we write and what the computer understands. So our lines of code will then be translated into the basic language of a computer by running that code through an interpreter. So you'll sometimes hear me refer to the interpreter, and that's what's happening. Why should we learn Python as business analysts, and what types of topics should we focus on? So business analysts, as we know, can gain an advantage in the workplace and contribute to projects if they build some skills in Python. It's important, in my view, to build some basic programming skills so that we're able to customize our analytics solutions and go beyond what is offered with Python by default. We are going to learn how to control programs, how to write reusable functions that are versatile and dynamic. Being able to extract data is very important also. So if we can pull data from different sources that are out there and then manage that data and manipulate it to suit our purposes, we're going to have an advantage as well. And then there are a lot of options for data summary, visualization, and analysis, but sometimes it is more productive to have an entire program that analyzes a data set from start to finish. So being able to perform data summary, visualization, and analysis directly in a Python program is pretty useful, because as you'll see, we can write a script with lines of code that will perform operations in whatever sequence we prescribe, and that can be used over and over again, even if the data set differs. So that's quite useful, and in my view, that's an advantage over some of the programs like Excel and Tableau that require you to perform several actions in order to perform the analysis. If we can hard code those sequences of actions, then we improve our productivity as analysts. Lastly, it's important to note that programming requires a different sort of mindset. And these are all qualities that lead to success in programming. Persistence, time management, problem solving, resourcefulness, collaboration, and troubleshooting. But in my view, they take a different form when you're working in this context, especially persistence. So sometimes we think of persistence as just working constantly until you reach a solution. In programming, it's easy to spend many, many hours trying to resolve one small problem, and that can turn into a waste of time. So it's important to be persistent in the right ways, meaning reach out to a classmate or to me or to a colleague in the future if you run into a challenge that you feel like you're not able to resolve easily. So I have in our class what I call the 20-minute rule, and the 20-minute rule says if you're stuck on a line of code or one small aspect of your project for more than 20 minutes, then it's a good time to post in one of our Q&A or learning support channels that you'll become aware of very soon, or reach out to me directly. Being resourceful is pretty important as well, and part of this class, one of the main objectives is to learn what resources are available to you on the web and how to use them. So if you're able to do that, then you can kind of become unstoppable. You can learn anything you want to learn about Python if you're willing to put in the time, and there's no shortage of resources available for that. Okay, well, that's where we're going to leave it. In the next modules, you're going to learn about some of the software platforms that we're going to use, and you'll have a chance to become more comfortable with those. And I really look forward to working with you, and want to thank you in advance for signing up for this class and having an adventurous spirit, and thanks in advance for all the hard work that you're going to do to learn Python.